This is an intro to wanted to put up some videos on this actually in a series. They are pretty good. So anyway, this is intro how to navigate Panzer General 2, different settings, so on and so forth. And we'll get started. So this is the main screen. This is the home screen. What is the game? It is a turn-based, DOS-based strategy war game from the 90s. The first game was Panzer General, then this one, and it basically opened up an entire slew of similar games. I think there was Pacific General, the People's General, Panzer General 3D, highly successful computer-based, turn-based strategy game, which totally was into the first one. PG2 was an improvement in gameplay and many other facets. So yeah, we'll get started. So this is the main screen. This is where you have all your selections. You can play a single scenario. See those, and there's many, and you can play head-to-head between two human players, right? Or you can play like the way this one's set up. This is the human player and this is the AI, or you can set it for two human players. Play kind of hot seat. You have to kind of pass the computer back and forth. This one is the one I always play. You're playing against the AI in a campaign, and all your selections here on the left. You can either play Blitzkrieg. You click it, it gives you a brief rundown of the scenario, which this one is, I guess you'd say, the most historically accurate. This is kind of from Germany's perspective, World War II from the start. It begins in 1938 with the Germany's involvement in the Spanish Civil War. These others are kind of hypothetical, like defending the Reich. Germany goes on the defensive. American Crusade in the West. British Crusade in the West. And then this would be from the Russian standpoint after Germany's invaded. Here you can adjust the computer or the AI prestige setting. I think the algorithm in the game, if you mess with that, actually makes it harder. So I always leave it just at 100%. This was for the game originally supported playing online through Club SSI over the internet and the LAN connection. That no longer works, but that was a pretty cool feature. Playing by email was a pretty cool feature. That way, if you had someone across the world, you could load a game, make your move, kind of like a, I don't know, distant chess game, I suppose. And that's very much what the game reminds me of, just a lot more than your pawns and chess pieces. Your career bests game. I don't know why none of mine are recorded. Maybe that feature is kind of disabled. You can even build a scenario, starting the date, number of turns, so on and so forth. I've never done that. I guess you could if any of the history buffs out there, any historical inaccuracies, um, you could maybe change those. Um, Load a save game. Of course, I have tons. All these are not saves. We'll get to that in a minute. The importance of saving your games. First of all, we get interrupted or can't finish, obviously. Show the intro again, the credits, and then exit the game. So that is the basic gameplay. I'm gonna actually start a campaign and include the kind of my overall strategy here before I get into the first scenario. So, like I said, I've played around with some of these, not extensively. I mainly 99% of the time I'll play Blitzkrieg, leave the AI setting at 100%, and then you'll with every new battle you'll get this intro. So we'll watch it too.
Good day, Herr General. Please sit down and allow me to explain the present situation. The Spanish nationalists have requested the help of Germany to wrest control of Spain from their enemies. In leading this expedition, you will have the opportunity to sharpen your skills in the art of war. You will test the Generalstab's new ideas regarding tank use, concentration of force, and combined arms operations. Your expertise can then be put to work towards the real objective, the return of Germany to its proper place, the leader of Europe.
Okay, so and you'll probably tire of listening to that every time before every new assignment. And here's the basic gameplay interface. Of course, this gives you this is your status, what scenario you're on or what assignment, what turn you're on, the date, your weather, which does come into play, how many turns left until brilliant victory, victory, and tactical victory. A word here in the game, this is what you want in every scenario except race to Dunkirk. Okay, you want this brilliant victory. You earn a lot more prestige, and you earn and I'll show you how to always earn a prototype unit. So that's your status. Click, it goes away. Now you have the actual gameplay menu on the right bar, and you have the overview map. To scroll around the map, just move the cursor to the extremes. Okay. I'm playing the side of Germany, so my units are always, they have black numbers. Well, black or white. The black numbers are my core units. Okay. These guys, you see I can move them, highlighted spaces. These are like auxiliary forces. Can use them to help me, and I will, including, well, all these 2 artillery pieces, a tank, several infantry, and then over here 3 infantry and an artillery. A word about your core pieces, you need to protect them. You don't really want to lose any of these guys because you take a prestige hit, but you certainly don't want to lose any of your core units. So if they start getting weak, you need to pull them out of harm's way. So kind of going down the menu here, top to bottom, if you just hover over it, it's going to tell you what it does, and it's pretty intuitive. So if I select this unit and click next unit, then it just cycles. You see how it's highlighting. If I do get to any unit, I can right click and get basic information about it. What its fuel, its alignment, ammo, range, movement, or I'm sorry, initiative, its spotting range, how far it can see, its current strength, its naval attack, air attack, soft attack, which is like infantry ground units, hard attack is like armor ground units, and then the bottom row is all its defense ratings. 7 for ground defense, 9 for air, 2 for close defense. So that's like within a city or maybe a forest type area, and then the ranged defense modifier for if it is being attacked by um, like an artillery piece or something. Here you can name it. So this is its name, 11/6. You can name it whatever you want. And if you click here, this looks like, if you click here, you exit, of course. If you click here, it gives a little bit more detail. Same information you had on the first screen, but now you also get battle honors, how many units it's destroyed. And then if you click up here in this box, you see the cursor flash, and you can rename it here also. The renaming I really only use when I start getting leaders, so that I can just look on the map and know what leader attribute a unit has, and that can come into play um, in battle. So we'll try to get out of this. Okay. So more on the map. Of course, you see an airfield here. Of course, if you hover over it, it gives you information on it. These are cities. These green highlighted hexes. These, if you lose these, if an enemy unit gets in here, you lose the scenario. You lose that battle. So protect those. Even protect like these two here. Like this one is a Spanish control. You see the Spanish flag. It's controlled by Spanish nationalists. This one's controlled by Germany. Don't lose those. You may not lose the game, but you'll lose prestige, because you earn prestige in part based on how long you hold cities. So, and if you take one over, you take one of these over, you don't want to lose it, because then you stop losing that bonus and it has to start over. So it's cumulative. Okay, so you have tanks, artillery, infantry. You'll probably see some anti-tank. Well, you will see some anti-tank weapons later. You'll see some anti-aircraft weapons later. Aircraft, which I'll use in the next video in the playthrough of this scenario. I believe that's it. All right, moving down, requisition unit. Okay, this is where you actually purchase units for your army. This tells you how much money you have. The game's money is prestige. So if you want to buy this guy, it's 156 prestige points, you have enough. And then, of course, under here gives you all the stats on the units. Down here is transport information. Say, for example, if you're going to buy an artillery piece, it's going to have to be moved. So your choices are truck or wagon, which is much cheaper, but it's also much slower and not nearly, well, actually there's not much in the defense, but where a truck will move 8 hexes, wagon is only half that, and we'll see that when I do the playthrough in the next video. Here's all your classes: air defense, anti-tank, artillery, infantry, recon, didn't mention that, tanks, and then fighters and tactical bombers. All right, so get out of this. Well, that's for your next country. That's for Germany. If I did want to buy something for the Spanish nationalist, these are my choices. Not going to waste prestige buying non-core units. So the name of the game, let me get back to Germany here, or Italy. I guess I could buy some Italian forces, but back to Germany. The name of the game in Panzer General 2, first of all, is managing your prestige, making smart upgrades and purchases because it's very limited, um, and experience. If you mismanage either or both of these, it's going to be exponentially harder to be successful in the game. The game will kind of punish you for mismanagement. And I'll get to that as we go through. In the experience is simply battle experience, and I'll give you some tips and tricks on how to manage both of those. So I don't have any forces to deploy, so this button's grayed out. Field headquarters, that is basically your units and kind of their status. So these are the units at my disposal. I can use that scroll bar. And then down the side here, I do have my dossier. I can inspect. So if I select a unit, I can inspect it, get more information about it. I can go to the next unit or exit back to field headquarters. I could go to the unit. I can again go to, I can requisition a unit. If I could overstrength, none of my, well, like this one. Actually, don't know why, but I guess because it's not a core unit, it won't let me overstrengthen it. None of my core units, which are these, have experience to be overstrength, and the game won't let me overstrength a non-core unit. So from basically here down, these are not my core units. I wouldn't want to overstrengthen them anyway, more than likely. I could upgrade if there were upgrades available, and they're not at this point in the war. And then game functions like save, load, etc. So get out of this. Where were we? Okay. Air mode when you get aircraft, and I will in this scenario simply make sure that you select an air unit, and it'll show you the air unit's potential movement. This one can be beneficial when you're first starting to give you an overview of where you are. You see the German cities, and this is basically Europe here and over here. And basically, your objective here is to capture all these cities, move your forces down this road alongside the river, take this objective, again, it's gold. So you got an objective here, a main objective here, a victory objective here, and then eventually end up down here. This is pretty slow moving down this road because a lot of your troops are either on foot or they're in wagons. And you'll also see that's why it's a great scenario too. Even though you're tracked, your mobile forces, your tracked and trucked units, yeah, they can get down here a lot quicker, and then they run out of fuel. So then you have to spend a turn, oftentimes refueling them, and by the time you do that, your slower units have caught up. Another word on secondary objectives, like these cities here, and this one way out here, this one way out here. These two, these are not victory objectives, but you want to grab them. So you'll want to send a non-critical unit, kind of out in the wings to catch these for prestige. So that's your basic strategy, is to take this objective. You have a small force here, knock out these secondary objectives. They will follow this road, right? Taking these other secondary or this other secondary objective and meet at this fork in the road basically to start your final assault here on this airfield here, what you'll need, and then finishing here. You'll send a weakened unit out here to catch this one. He'll follow the river down and offer any assistance to you. So you're all kind of converging here. Okay, well if I'm in air mode here, that's going to show you where my air units are. I click out of it, then I get to see where my ground units are. So these are all ground units. And you see the German flags and the Spanish flags. So that's where all your units are. Um, can't replay the turn. This would be for like a live game to watch maybe what your opponent did again. Um, can't chat because that feature is not enabled. Additional options can be helpful. Status report, if you lose track of where you are, you pull this back up. So if you're getting close, do I need to move? Do I need to increase my pace or wait or whatever? Um, list of hotkeys I've never used. Feel free to try that. There they are. So it's up to you. I just use the mouse. Audio settings, you may want to use that. Music level, you can turn that on. You get out of that. So there it is. And you can adjust the level if you like playing with the game's music, or turn it off because it just kind of becomes annoying to me. Sound effects, I do like to hear. Bit of an audio learner, I suppose, and you can adjust the level, or you can click it again to turn sound effects off. Let's see, terrain. You click that, and you don't see the train. I'm sorry, I'm backwards. You see what the train is, and I was thinking in the earlier version you could actually select where train did not impact fuel and movement, but it does in this game. Your hex sides off and on. This can be helpful turning it on briefly if you're checking the range of your artillery or enemy artillery, but to me it just makes the screen so busy. It's much easier to play for me with it off, so whatever your personal preferences are. Full screen, we're already there, and I really don't like messing with the computer has a hard enough time running it anyway. And then in turn, and then of course your game functions from load, save, so on and so forth. The game, should have said this earlier, is available at GOG.com, which is Good Old Games. I'll put a link for them in the description. And when I do the playthrough, I'm going to do a modified version of a pretty detailed and pretty good strategy guide / playthrough. I've just modified it a little bit. I think my way works a little bit better. It does for me. So, but I'll put a link for that in the description too. But it's a great game. Only other things with like playthrough or instructions, you simply select the unit. Now I see all these highlighted hexes is how far you can move. And you notice if I go back here, the pointer changes to a truck. Well, that means he has to get into transport to move that far, which means he can't attack. And it's harder for that unit to defend. Select my tank. And of course, the reason they can't just go right by him is zone of control. So all these enemy units exert that. So the tank just can't blow by them, or they could go around it, but they have to go so far out. Probably wouldn't be practical. If I select my artillery units, you see the reticle for fire. So all these guys, and that's the expected damage, right? 0 for the attacker, 4 for the defender. This artillery unit can actually reach that artillery unit for an artillery duel. Other ones can't, but they can reach these other soft targets. You definitely want to make use of your artillery before you attack to soften. If I had an air unit, which I will in the playthrough, but it's basically the same principle. Kind of same thing over here, soften with artillery. And the kind of the overall, um, you'll see the overall strategy here, or one of the big overall strategies. I mean, this is a combined arms force with artillery, armor. I guess you could consider recon armor, and my infantry. And then when I get an air unit, and that's what you want to use. Weaken your enemies as much as possible, and then move in for the kill. And that's where kind of the lightning war thing comes, where the rest of the units just blow by. And we'll see that when I play through. That's probably it for an intro, and I'll do a playthrough of this first scenario upcoming. So I'm gonna go ahead and exit. Let me know of any questions or comments if you have better, maybe alternative strategies. And remember, like, share, subscribe, and thanks for watching, guys.